If you look up any tips on productivity, most of the expert advice is to focus on time management, and they teach you how to do a lot of time management, right? Because the most successful people are protective of their time and they manage it well and they optimize their schedules. The trick, though, I think I found, at least for myself, in getting more done out of my day, is to not only be protective of my time, but also be protective of my energy. So that's why I'm sharing with you the gain drain matrix. Think about it this way. There are certain activities in your day that are gains. The more you do that thing, the more you end up wanting to do that thing. It gives you more energy. It energizes you. And there's some other things in the day which are just drains. Some of them have to be done. Some of them don't. Do you even assess them? But the more you do them, the more you don't want to do them, or at least it takes a long time to work up towards doing them. So using this gain and drain matrix, you can see, helps you understand and assess throughout your day, throughout your week, throughout your time, where you are putting your energy and whether it is wasteful or meaningful or not. For whatever work you want to focus on, whatever area that you want to get better at, or whatever thing you want to make progress on. Now, if it is a drain and it is wasteful, simple decision, just discard it. That's all you got to do. If it's a gain for you, but it's wasteful, like for example, I don't know, scrolling on your socials, that could be a gain. It could be energizing. The more you do it, the more you end up wanting to do it. And that's how we end up in those 4-hour rabbit holes. That's when you use restraint. This is the time to really go, how much of this is meaningful towards the things that I want to achieve? If not, I better use some restraint here, put some time limits on it, or just practice bringing that time that I spend there down. If it is a drain and it's meaningful, this is where we got to be a bit careful. There are two things we can do here. One, we can delegate, or two, we can try to find a way to reframe it so that we can move it up to the upper right quadrant, which is a gain and it's meaningful. I think for me, back when I was trying to lose weight and get back into shape and all that, going to the gym, I knew was meaningful, but it was such a drain for me. I just did not like it. I wasn't good at it, and that's why I didn't like it, but I knew that I had to persevere and find some way to fall in love with it. So the way that I did it back then was to give myself grace and let myself fall back in love with the gym. My goal back then was, for the first month, if I can make it through a 20-minute workout without any thought in my mind of, I got to get back to work, or this is starting to get boring, man, I really suck at this, without any thought, then within that month, I'd be successful. That was my only goal for a month. And the moment that a thought came into my mind, any negative thought that came into my mind while I was at the gym, I would put whatever weights I was holding down and I would leave the gym, just to try to reframe and make sure that no negative thoughts or emotions were anchored to me being in that environment. So that was my attempt at a reframe. You can do it for pretty much any other task that you want to get good at, or that you want to turn from a drain to a gain because you know that it is meaningful for you. And you can try, and if not, delegate it. Unfortunately, you can't delegate working out, so that's something that I knew I had to reframe. Anyway, let's move on to the final one. Real nice and simple. If it's a gain and it's meaningful, that's what we want to deepen. It sounds really intuitive, but a lot of time in practice, it ends up being kind of counterintuitive. Maybe not counterintuitive, but definitely, if you think about it, areas that some people take for granted. Because it's meaningful, because it's a gain, I'm going to focus on the things that are a grind, because everything has to be a grind. So that is where I'm going to spend most of my time, because the grind is where it's at, right? So some people focus on the drain that they know is meaningful, but what ends up happening is it drains them so much that they leave hardly any time in their schedule for the meaningful gains, the stuff that actually helps them move forward and energizes them. So it really is a balance here. Hopefully this matrix helps you think through your week. The way that I manage this for myself in my Notion, which I use as my knowledge management and personal task management platform, is to create this type of a task where you can see in here, I've got sweat. So that's what I use for if I think it's going to be laborious, and then also focus if I need to really hone in on that. So some work might be highly laborious, but might not need a lot of focus, and some are, where this thing's going. So I do this as an estimate, and I go find out the actual, and that is how I manage my gain and my drain, and then start taking notes and all that other stuff. Anyway, I've gone on for too long here. Please go assess your gains and drains against what is meaningful and what's not. Use that matrix, apply it to your schedule, and I hope that this helps with you trying to get more productive in a meaningful way without grinding it through, because that can be super painful.